List of the anniversary dates for city employees.
I do.
Yeah. Can I borrow
Yeah. Excuse me. I missed it the first time.
Thank you.
You gonna give that back, or I want me to make a copy of it?
No, we're gonna borrow it for a little bit, and I'll give it back.
Thank you.
I'm just not doing well tonight.
Tony, you're the only one that eats.
Oh, am I the one that's alive?
Golly, it's everybody. Police department. You need to sit back now.
No, sir.
That makes it much more sense.
Is that the fire department open up the police department again?
Yeah.
This back's getting sore.
This is all stress. Everyone is working with us. Pretty good. You were holding the flag lines. The back is sorted and you're trying to move power.
I did that on purpose.
Okay, it's now 7:30. We'll call the meeting to order. Would everyone please rise, whichever order it is. We have an invocation by Mr. Henry, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our most precious Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Lord, for this privilege, Lord, to come and do the business of the city. We ask you to guide us through making our decisions. And Heavenly Father, we ask you, Lord, to lead in our safety forces, Lord, as they minister to us and protect us. Protect them. Just be with us, safety forces, Lord, the firemen that heal today, Lord, be with their families, bless them. Be with our fighting men and women, Lord, that's in harm's way, bless them, keep them safe. Tonight, Lord, we ask you to be especially Dick Morrow, Lord, his family, and his church. Pray that everything is okay. Just all these things in the Holy Name.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Roll call.
Morrow. Cole. Here. Rabel.
Here.
Heffley.
Here.
Henry.
Here.
Johnson. Kelly.
Here.
Mr. President,
Mr. Henry.
motion that we excuse Councilor Morrow and Johnson.
Second.
A motion and a second, excuse Mr. Johnson and Mr. Morrow. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. It will be excused. Approval of minutes of the June 17th, 2013 meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Minutes have been approved. Election appointments, there are none. Special orders and committees, Mayor Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a couple of guests here this evening from Park National Bank. Would you guys mind just standing and introducing yourselves to the council? I'm not sure that many of them have met you before.
I'm Alan Fish. I'm from the Southgate branch of Johnny Book.
I'm Corey Thompson. I work at the 30th Street branch across from Toys R Us.
And, Park National Bank is a company that I think we're blessed to have in this area. They're involved in so many things, not just in the city of Heath, but throughout Licking County. And you travel around, you see commercials and advertisements for different banks, and they all say, that they focus on being a local bank and supporting local things. Well, you don't have to question that with Park National Bank. They are definitely there. From the Heath Difference Maker event that we have every year to their long-standing support for the Star Spangled Celebration event. And a few weeks ago at the Heath Difference Maker luncheon, great job putting that on, by the way. That was your first one, right? Yeah. I happened to be sitting next to Dan Water or talking with him, and we got to talking about Star Spangled Celebration, and I mentioned that we get about 5,000 people in Gallup Park each year for that event. And am I correct in recalling that this is the 50th anniversary of the Southgate branch location in the city of Heath?
Yeah.
In honor of that significant occasion, Mr. DeLauder pledged a donation to our Celebrate Heath committee of $1 for every person that I estimated comes to the event each year, which was a $5,000 donation. A tremendous show of support from Park National. We have many corporate sponsors and many individuals that do a tremendous job in helping us put on tomorrow night's event. But I felt that that level of recognition from Park National Bank deserved special notice from me. So if you guys would like to join me up front, I have a proclamation to read and then give. And it reads, whereas it is one of the responsibilities of the mayor of the city of Heath to recognize occasions of outstanding significance and extraordinary organizations. Whereas for over 100 years, Park National Bank has been a significant financial institution in Licking County. Whereas Park National has supported its local community through their personnel's volunteerism and financial donations. Whereas since the city of Heath began its Star Spangled Celebration in 1996, Park National Bank has been an integral part of this annual festival, increasing their monetary donation and volunteer involvement each year. Whereas the generosity of local companies such as Park National Bank allows the citizens of Heath and surrounding cities to carry on the traditions and the celebration of our country's independence. And now, therefore, on behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Heath, I, Mark D. Johns, Mayor of Heath, Ohio, do hereby recognize Park National Bank for their assistance and commitment to the annual Star Spangled Celebration. Thanks, guys. And I can do another original. And okay, all right. Just let me know. And I know that Mr. Groff wished that he could be here this evening too to help recognize Park National Bank for their support of the event. As you know, he and his wife from the beginning have been strong supporters and organizers for the event. He unfortunately is at Gallup Park right now getting ready for tomorrow night. So,
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
yeah. So again, thank you very much for everything that you do for the city, and in particular, the outstanding contribution to the Star Spangled Celebration. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Thank you.
Okay, unfinished business, there is none. Petitions and communications.
First is a memo regarding utility accounts listed below. Utility accounts in arrears of 90 days in accordance with Chapter 95.08 of Ordinance 37/2006. This information is submitted to council and will be forwarded to the auditor of Licking County.
President,
Mr. Craven.
move we forward this list to the Licking County Auditor.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next memo.
Regarding the abatement of unkept high grass and weeds in accordance with Chapter 913.04 of the City of Heath Codified Ordinance, the below listed properties failed to respond to zoning notices for high grass and unkept weeds, and subsequently to high grass and weeds for cut under the direction of the city.
Mr. President,
Mr. Crable.
motion to forward this list of high grass and weed expenditures to the county auditors as well.
A motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
President,
Mr. Crable.
motion to receive and file the communications.
I have a motion to receive and file, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. That brings us to the visitor section. Any visitors like to speak? Approach the podium, state your name and address, and tell us your concerns. Come on, Nick. All right, seeing that, we'll move on to committee reports. Mr. Crable.
Finance and Budget met this evening, 3 legislative requests. First one, appropriate $3,700 for median maintenance for the remainder of the year once the warranty is completed with the state. Second item, update the zoning and design and development fees. Third item, appropriate up to $40,000 within the capital improvements fund for replacement of playground equipment at Yellow Park. Under other items, Auditor Alexander reported a couple items listed on eBay, like packed defibrillator batteries and variable drives to the wastewater department. Also from Auditor Alexander, the audit captures are done. They are at the printer and are currently available online at the city website. Keith, anything else?
Nothing to add.
Kim Geller,
Nothing at this time, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Public Services, Mr. Crable.
Thank you. Substitute for Mr. Morrow. Public Services met June 24th at 5:30. The delinquent utility accounts were presented. Under the water department, flushing water mains and turning valves were noted. Plant update is underway. The department is working on completion of a Franklin County water main pump station punch list. The extra summer help is doing an excellent job. A discussion was held concerning the update of the Moscat PLC to the new Micrologic PLC, which is kind of the brains and computer system of all these various stations. After 16 years, an update is needed. We should still have dollars left on the project we've committed to. Rechecking the figures and looking at the second bid. Sandblasting is being done at the water plant tanks. Under wastewater, adding variable frequency drives to plant scum pump station, flushing sewer lines, Greenbrier and Woodlands item are completed. Restaurant inspections are underway for the fog program. Cleaned out wet well plant, getting ready to take down the clarifier for cleaning and inspection. Scioto Fox Run lift station removal is ready to start any time. Mr. Ross is inspecting for the city. No pressure, man. Mr. Geller took pictures before the project started. Finished pictures will follow. Nothing else to discuss. The meeting was adjourned at 6:15 p.m. Mr. Geller, anything to add?
Yeah, one thing, Nick's doing a real good job on the inspection out there. He's keeping them on the straight and narrow. So things are looking really good. So other than that, no, I have no other comments. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. President.
Thank you. Public Safety, in the absence of Mr. Johnson, Mr. Bradford.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Safety will meet next Monday, July 8th at 5:30 p.m.
Yeah, I will add, they've heard me talking for quite a while. We did receive an $85,000 federal grant from FEMA that will be used towards purchase of new self-contained breathing apparatus. And I'll have a couple of announcements at the safety committee meetings. Waiting on that for a while, it finally came through. So our share is, it's a 95.5. So I think it costs us about $4,500 to get the 85,000. So that's not a bad deal. That's all I have right now, thanks.
Thank you. Chief Shepherd.
Yes, no grants, but I do have 5 employees with the anniversaries in July.
Very ferocious, 34 years. However, I should add, Perry turned in his resignation last Friday, and he's no longer with us, so he's resigned from his part-time position. Jimmy Jones, 22 years. Craig Black, Sergeant Craig Black, 15 years. I'm sorry, 19 years. Bruce Ramage, 15 years. And yours truly, 10 years. That's all I have.
That's all. Thank you. Streets and drainage, Mr. Eppler.
Streets and drainage will meet, Monday, July 15th at 5:30. Bob, anything you'd like to add?
Nothing, thanks.
That's all I have. Thank you. Community development and zoning, Mr. Henry.
Okay, community development met tonight at 5:30, and Mr. Brock was here, and, he had 7 items on the agenda. Number 1 was a parks grant request legislation, and, he requested, you approve the legislative request to cover the total cost of this playground equipment for $40,000, up to $40,000. And then once it's finished, ODNR will reimburse the city, I think 75% of the total is it. And number 2 was State Route 13 shoulder repair. That, is anticipated to start at the end of July. And, also August the 5th, State Route 13 will close for this work. They're going to stretch a land right in front of that friend property there, that church. It's a long way, so, I know the mayor was concerned that we get the State Route 13 reopened before school starts, and during that time, the Mopar, I think, too, Keith. ODOT's doing all this, it has nothing to do with it, unless, you ever tell about ODOT? Grass cutting report legislation, we had 3 yards total of cost to the city that we set on. We approved that earlier for $400. And the median landscaping bid litigation legislation, we got an estimate from this company called Showcase for $3,700 to maintain this median for the rest of this year. And also John and the mayor said that the contractor who put that stuff in, it's covered under that warranty on trees and shrubs, then it'll be deducted on what we owe this contract. And the State Route 79 banner program that was estimated by the mayor, it's worked really nice and got an excellent response from the businesses. And he did give the businesses along 79 that was affected by the shutdown first crack at putting in the banner, put the names on the banner, and so the banner schedule is full through the fall, and also they're working on the winter already. It's good. Let's think about it. It's a good response, and the banners do look good. And the zoning fee legislation, we had an addition to that. We passed an ordinance recently, I don't remember when, but there was one area that wasn't included, and there should be the land on the last change. So what we want to do is place the zoning department fees in chapter 1107, and that's what the change will be. And he gave us a skeleton development update. They said there's lots of things that we work, but they are still confidential and don't make public, so that was it. Did I miss anything? Thank you.
I believe so.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation, David Shea, Mrs. Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Parks, Recreation, and Davis Shea will meet Monday, July 15th, immediately following Streets and Drainage. Did you have anything to add, Bob?
Nothing, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Planning Commission, Mr. Craig.
Thank you. Planning Commission met June 27th. We had 2 items of new business. The first one was a remodel of the exterior of the Applebee's existing building. We're going to basically do a total makeover of the exterior of that building, some on the interior as well. That was approved. Also, Robertson Construction, Glenwood Drive, it's got a new office building in front of the existing building there that they've proposed, and we approved the sketch plan for that as well. Mayor Johns, anything else to add?
Very thorough, nothing to add.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brings us to the introduction of ordinances, ordinance 54, 2013.
Ordinance 54, 2013, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $3,700 for the general fund of health services, authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contract with Showcase Lawn Landscape to perform certified union landscape maintenance.
Mr. President,
Mr. Henry.
make a motion that we waive the second reading of ordinance number 54-2013.
Second.
A motion and second to waive, roll call.
Cole.
Yes.
Rabel.
Yes.
Heffley.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes, motion to waive has been approved.
Mr. President,
Mr. Henry.
I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 54-2013.
Second.
A motion and second to adopt, any discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Henry.
As a point of information, appreciate council waiving second reading on this. The landscape maintenance in the median since being in the year, as it has at times been not adequate. I have received, I've observed at various times some substantial amount of weeds in the median. Contracting for the maintenance of it is something that we had wanted to do for some time. I'm willing to take responsibility as far as this not having been pushed a little bit sooner, but there are a number of different factors, including the year-long warranty that we have on the plantings in there that caused some delays in this. I'm looking forward to having the median under regular maintenance by a professional landscape company. And I think the plantings in there, I think they're a great thing. It might be something that evolves over years. We need to see what works, what doesn't work, and we'll have the flexibility to be able to do that once the warranty project has expired on the plantings. But I am looking forward to that being regularly maintained by a professional landscape company. I think some of the issues that we saw earlier in the spring with the weeding will certainly be a thing of the past with this. So, again, thank council for waiving the second reading on this so that we can get into this right away.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll call for roll call.
Cole.
Yes.
Rabel.
Yes.
Heffley.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes. Ordinance 54, 2013 has been adopted. Ordinance 55, 2013.
Ordinance 55, 2013, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $2,500 within the street fund to be materials and supplies for additional street signs.
Mr. President,
Mr. Heffley.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the second reading of ordinance 55, 2013.
A motion and second to waive, roll call.
Cole.
Yes.
Rabel.
Yes.
Heffley.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes, motion to waive has been approved.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance 55, 2013.
A motion and a second to adopt, any discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Mayor.
And point of information, appreciate council waiving second reading on this. I think our street department has been working hard for a number of weeks now, changing out some of the street signs and installing those that meet the federal mandate as far as reflectivity and letter height and things like that on our street signs. As a side note, I've also received a number of compliments from people on the way that the new signs are looking, and I think members of council have expressed that they've heard similar things from other people as well. Purchasing these signs will allow us to continue with that project. And Bob, any idea when that might wrap up as far as installing all the new ones?
If we get them ordered this week, it's probably gonna be another
4 to 6 weeks maybe.
Yeah. So that was the reason why we wanted to have second reading on this passed, because we want to try to get this whole process wrapped up as soon as possible and didn't want to delay in ordering the signs. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll roll call.
Cole?
Yes.
Crable?
Yes.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes, ordinance 55, 2013 has been adopted. All right, that's all the ordinances on the first reading. So ordinances on second reading, ordinance 45, 2013.
Ordinance 45, 2013, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to adopt 2013 land use and thoroughfare plan.
Mr. Henry.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 45, 2013.
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Cole?
Yes.
Crable?
Yes.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry? Kelly?
Yes, ordinance 45, 2013 has been adopted. Ordinance 50, 2013.
Ordinance 50, 2013, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation transfer of $4,900 for zoning services, zoning capital outlay to purchase 3 new computers.
Mr. President,
Mr. Henry.
make a motion that we adopt ordinance 50-2013.
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Cole?
Yes.
Crable?
Yes.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry? Kelly?
Yes, ordinance 50, 2013 has been adopted. Ordinance 51, 2013.
Ordinance 51, 2013, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $2,500 within the general fund to surface services to cover costs associated with tree maintenance.
Mr. President,
Mr. Henry.
make a motion to adopt ordinance 51, 2013.
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Cole?
Yes.
Crable?
Yes.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes, 51, 2013 has been adopted. Ordinance 52, 2013.
Ordinance 52, 2013, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $800 from the general fund to fire capital outlay from Marathon Petroleum donation.
Mr. President,
Mr. Heffley.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance 52, 2013.
A motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Cole?
Yes.
Crable?
Yes.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes, ordinance 52, 2013 is adopted. All right, that's all the ordinances on the second reading. Resolutions on first reading, there are none. Resolutions on second reading. Resolution 2013-3.
Resolution 2013-3, resolution authorizing the mayor to state the feasibility of creating a joint fire and ambulance district.
Mr. President,
Mr. Heffley.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolution 2013-3.
A motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Cole?
Yes.
Crable?
Yes.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes. Resolution 2013-3 has been adopted. Resolution 2013-4.
Resolution 2013-4, resolution authorizing the mayor to apply to the Ohio Local Government Innovation Fund for funds to study the feasibility of creating a joint fire and ambulance district.
Mr. President,
Mr. Heffley.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolution 2013-4.
A motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Cole?
Yes.
Crable?
Yes.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes, resolution 2013-4 has been adopted. That's all the resolution, second reading. We come to reports of city officials. Mayor Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome to the visitors in attendance this evening. I want to first start by thanking Americon for their donation of $800 to the fire department. And also, thank you to Chief Huggins and Chief, refresh my memory. Who was it? Who among the staff was one of the ones helping to drive the FEMA grant?
Ron Worth is our grant writer for the department. Heath had his fingers in it with some of the governmental issues online and such. So it was a group effort.
Yeah,
Ron Worth took the lead on that, did a nice job.
Thank you to all of those involved. I know Chief had put a call into Senator Brown's office. Thank you to him to the extent that he was able to help us on this. And it's really a great grant to be able to receive for some necessary equipment. It helps to help us carry that burden of acquiring that. So thank you to all involved in helping to secure that. I want to thank Council for passing resolutions 3 and 4 in regards to the idea of looking at this fire district. Had some conversations with members of various media outlets in regards to this, and you know, as is sometimes the case, I think they're wanting to put the cart so far in front of the horse that it's unbelievable. I don't know whether or not this makes sense for the city of Heath. The fact is that I don't know what I don't know about this idea. That's why we need to have a study. That's why I think it makes sense for a number of governmental entities in our area to at least express a willingness to explore this option. I think as mayor, I think city council members and city officials, that's our job. We need to try to explore ways to most effectively provide services the people of the city of Heath expect from us. And that is, that process in regards to the fire district begins for us with the passing of these resolutions. So I want to thank council for that. We need to give, I think, a very special thank you this evening to the service that Perry Brocious has given the city of Heath. Not only as a full-time police officer, but also, as Chief Shepard indicated, as our DARE officer. There's a lot of kids that have come through Heath City Schools who know who Officer Perry is, and had really were receptive of the message that he was promoting through the DARE program to try to encourage youth of our city to make the right choices when it comes to substance abuse. Perry Brocious, I think, is a unique individual in being able to connect with kids of many ages in trying to deliver that. I know Chief Shepard and I have talked. Were we to try to continue the DARE program, I'm not sure who we would be able to get that would come anywhere close to being as effective as he was. Would you agree with that, Chief?
Absolutely.
I just want to make sure that it's noted that I think we all appreciate what Perry Brocious has done through the police department and the DARE program for us in the city of Heath. The Land Use and Thoroughfare Plan, I want to thank the members of the Planning Commission, Jeff and the other members. This is something that, what did it take, Jeff, about a year, just about, for us to look through everything. We had some input from the department heads on this as well, but it was something that we thought out, and I thought the members of the Planning Commission did a very good job of, John Geller, especially in regards to the utility outlines for future years. John, thank you very much for your time and input to the committee. But anyway, members of the Planning Commission, I want to give a thank you to, because we spent a lot of time on that, and I know they gave it a lot of thought outside of the meeting room as well. Star Spangled Celebration tomorrow night. Thank you to everyone that was involved. Appreciate everything that you guys have been doing on that. I mean, it's just been tremendous. Really appreciate it. And I think we all need to recognize John has made it clear this is the last year that he intends to head up the Celebrate Heath committee. We've gotten some new volunteers coming in this year. That's much appreciated. I know Jeff's going to appreciate having some extra help parking cars. John has appreciated the help of committee members helping to organize it. But he's made it pretty clear that he will not be running that ship next year. So we need to make sure that we have people step up and make it happen. It's people like John who do it outside of their work time to make it happen. So that's something that I'm going to try to help identify people. We need to continue this, and it takes somebody who's willing to grab the baton and run. And finally, Doug, I want to offer my condolences on your loss today of your brother-in-law. I was really sorry to hear that. And please, if you would, pass on to Barb my condolences as well. That's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Auditor Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to welcome everybody and ask that we keep the families of Mr. Heffley, Mr. Morrow, and Mr. Johnson in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Law Director Morrison.
I just want to endorse everything the auditor said, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Let's start down that end. Mr. Crable, start.
Thanks, welcome everyone, and prayers of the Heffley family, the Morrow family, and the Johnson family. Thank you.
Mr. Henry.
Yeah, I do wish all these families, give my condolences. Tomorrow I'll celebrate my 53rd anniversary. It'll be not too many fireworks, probably a lot of sparklers. It's good to be married that long, you know, you feel close to them. You get a lot of instructions in 53 years now, that's great. But that's what I'll be doing. I'll be doing that. So, and thank Peter for the people's visit here. Come back.
Deb, would you like to follow that?
I'm just gonna pass right over that. Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanna welcome everyone and to also, say that the Heffleys, the Morrows, and the Johnsons will be in my thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Heffley.
Thanks to the mayor, to everyone, condolences. My brother, Dave Shell, is well known in Licking County, and he's sorely missed. That's all I have.
Lynn, you have anything to do? Go down below with Chief Shepherd.
Nothing, thank you.
Chief Huggins.
Nothing right now, thanks.
Kim Kelly.
Yeah, I just want to tell Doug that I'm sorry for his loss too, and wish the Johnsons and Morrows very much about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom Miller.
Nothing.
Bob Miller. Before I'm going to give my comments, but Bob, I want to talk to you before you skip out of here now, if you got a minute. And the mayor, I want to talk to you for just a minute after, so you don't skip out. We've got a couple things I want to talk about. And also, when it comes time to miscellaneous, I'm going to give a second visitor time, since we had a lot of visitors the first time. Thought maybe we'd get more the second time. So any visitors that stepped in here since then, if you want to speak under miscellaneous, will be a time to speak. So I don't know if you came for a reason or not, but I'm going to give you, and just a little I'm going to hold you about 5 minutes or so. We normally don't have it. Okay. I figured you came for a reason, so I'm going to.
Information, that's all.
Okay. And I wanted to say that wish Mr. Johnson a happy birthday on July 3rd, and I hope the reason he isn't here is because he's celebrating his birthday, not because of other personal problems and stuff. And hope that, and Mr. Heffley, sorry about the loss. And let's hope that Dick is well and joking and laughing and everything over in the hospital and wondering why he's over there. And it's, we hope best wishes for that. So that's all I have to talk about. New business, there's none. Reading of bids.
We have a a bid for the median landscape maintenance project. Showcase Lawn and Landscape was the only bid amount not to exceed $3,700. Thank you, Mr. President.
Now brings us miscellaneous, so if there's any visitors who'd like to speak, now's your time. State your name and your address and what you're here for.
My name's Mike Duncan, I live at 852 Crescent Drive, Heath, Ohio. Down on my end of the street, I just don't know who to contact, because I've been at this for 10 months trying to figure out. I've tried the police department, they tried to help me, and then they informed me that that wasn't their problem, that I need to contact the street department. I have a burned out street light, it's been out for 10 months. I've called at least every 2 weeks. I can't get it fixed. I just would like to have it fixed. My end of the street is so dark down there, and we get all the dope smokers, the beer drinkers, and the parkers. And we usually run them out there, and a couple of the police officers are aware of this, and they know they can't sit down there all the time. But they do make a little trip down in there every once in a while and check on the weekends for us. But I just like to have a street like this.
I assume it's 880 power?
That's what we did last time, yeah. So,
After the meeting, after you have the poll number or anything like that?
no, I looked on the poll, there's no numbers.
After the meeting, I'll talk to you. I got some contacts that I can go through the back door kind of channels to get someone to fix something like that.
Bob, do you have any knowledge if AEP has already been contacted?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Or not, but that's the procedure. Sometimes the police gives us that information because they're out at night. They tell us, and then we call AEP, and then we're at the mercy of them coming to change it.
Like I said, I started 10 months ago.
Yeah.
And I started with the police department, and one of the people who actually put here finally told me every month I needed to contact street department.
Right.
So I've been calling them. And then we had a couple of police officers that actually, they heard about my problem down there, so they've been trying to, and they said, well, we're gonna get the number off the pole and call it.
Right.
Well, they didn't get a number either, because there ain't no number. Yeah, I'm at a loss. I don't know who to contact, I don't know what to do.
What address then is the pole in front of?
852 Crescent Drive.
It's right in front of this?
It's
Okay.
just down the street from my house.
Okay.
It's a little bit dark. Okay.
Now, you know, we can cure this in a different way. You just give me that into the street, I'll just solve it all in. There's nothing going on down there but that. We just had a lot of breaking in down there, cars that park for the basketball games and football games. The people come to my house, hey, you see anybody? Why don't you go see about that street? I have. Yeah, like I said, I just don't know.
Okay, I know. Now I know exactly where it is. I'll make some calls on
Okay, you still need to talk to him?
it. No, I don't need to talk to you anymore. I know exactly where it's at. No problem.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other visitors since we have today? Okay, seeing none, we'll move for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion second, adjourn, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those in favor, we're adjourned.
Night, sir. Have a good one.